all over again. Okay, so that's a stock on which we've had our first debate. Let's move to the other one, because that's also a great point of debate in the market, and I'm talking about Dixon Technologies. Now, for what it's worth, the fourth quarter performance has been good. The stock is reacting to the fact that the company has beaten expectations on almost all counts in the fourth quarter. So let's look at the numbers and then we'll ask Deepan more about it. We have Surabhi with all the details.
Dixon Tech, like other EMS companies, have reported a really good set of numbers. Now, it beat estimates on all fronts. The revenue was up 4% on a year-on-year basis. They saw 100 basis points margin expansion on both EBITDA and gross margin level. And when you look at the internals, they have reported strong numbers there as well. The mobile and the EMS segment, which is the biggest segment for them, there they saw a revenue growth of 9% and a margin expansion of 70 basis points. On the con call, they did indicate that they have received large orders from Jio, and also volumes from Nokia has increased, which has led to a revenue growth in the mobile segment. The next big segment for them is the consumer electronics, where they have seen a marginal revenue decline of just 3%, but nevertheless the margins have expanded by 100 basis points. They said that the revenue was affected by higher open cell prices in the international market and also a weak consumer demand. Lightning segment saw some weakness, but this has been consistent with the peers. The revenue was down 11% over there. Home appliances and security systems both have seen a revenue growth and margin expansion on a year-on-year basis. All the brokerages have a positive view on this stock. Morgan Stanley, Investec, JM Financial and Nuvama all have a buy rating with a target price anywhere between 2,800 to 4,280 rupees per share.
Okay, so some optimism there on Dixon Technologies today. Deepan, now this is a debate because while some of the smaller, newer listings in this arena, right, which is more on the industrial side, your, Canes and the small company called Syrma SGS, suddenly they're catching the investors' fancy, whereas Dixon has really underperformed. Today is a great day, but otherwise Dixon's down 14-15% this year. Would you be interested in the space, A, and B, what kind of players?
Yeah, good afternoon, Surabhi. See, Dixon, the issue was that this quarter was very strong, but last couple of quarters have been a bit challenging. They have been impacted by higher raw material costs, and there's always a time lag between passing on those costs to their end customers. And of course, the valuation, I think it's really richly valued because it caught a lot of excitement of investors because of the whole PLI scheme. And this entire manufacturing of mobile phones within India is certainly a very strong value proposition. But I think maybe the stock has run up a bit ahead of itself, and thankfully investors had this particular quarter numbers where clearly it is showing that the company is moving up the value chain, and the products that they are focusing on are the ones where there is a higher EBITDA margin, which is very positive. And I think if this trend continues and stock price remains at these levels, so you have a compression of the price to earnings multiple, then it may get into an interesting investing zone. For the time being, I think if you're invested in it, as we are as a disclosure, I think best to remain invested. The opportunity is massive, considering the kind of market which is there in India and globally because of exports. We also talk about China Plus One, and Dixon is a major beneficiary of China Plus One strategy of global MNCs as well. So it's a good investment story, good investment theme, but it's just that on valuation, there is hardly any comfort.
Okay, and when we spoke with Amber, they said an interesting thing, and this may be in a way an underappreciated risk as well for these companies. These are contract manufacturing companies which put together ACs, refrigerators, all kinds of things, electronics basically. They said that a lot of companies now, who are their customers, because of these PLI incentives, they themselves are putting up their own manufacturing capacities. And what that means is that instead of assembling the entire thing and then supplying it to the OEM, whoever that may be, what they're trying to do is now to kind of sell these companies components. Now that is a higher margin business, but it's a transition which many of these companies perhaps will see over the next many quarters. Amber, Dixon, everything, all of them included as well. By the way, markets have taken a sharp dip. If we can have the Nifty up, we were talking about a 30-point drop. It's an 80-point drop now on the on the Nifty, and this is it's a vertical slide starting 237, so which means that we're at exactly about 9 minutes ago the slide started, and it's a very steep one, which has basically taken the market, I think, to the day's lowest point. Yes, we are at almost, not almost, but I think we are at the day's lowest point. The earlier low was made at open 920, 925 or so, and then the market bounced. So this is this second very sharp, swift sell-off, which is emerging. Actually, maybe just a quick look at the Nifty Bank as well before we take the break. I think similar kind of picture, starting at about 237, 234, 235 or so. The Nifty Bank has also seen a very sharp move down. It's down about 0.6, 271, 272 points in the red. Deepan is with us. We take a break here. We're back. We'll also have Nilesh Doshi of Green Lantern Capital join us on the other side. Stay with us.
My journey of insurance and investments began at the same time, when I invested in LIC SEEP. In this fast-moving world, SEEP can balance your funds with security and growth. SEEP will take care of the ups and downs of the market and will give you fruitful results so that you enjoy the ride. And when SEEP is with you, you can soar high.
LIC's unit-linked insurance plan SEEP offers savings and protection so that you can soar high in your life. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
What if you could get your goods to the right place at the right time all the time? With IBM Consulting, AI-powered software can help automate your supply chain so products can be ordered, produced, and delivered more efficiently. What will you create? IBM, let's create.
Hi, this is Rana Daggubati. I'm delighted to be a speaker at the Goa Fest 2023. Register now to hear me talk on the 26th of May.
Welcome back. Frontline indices is selling off, but mid-caps are holding fort. In that, you've got a Deepak Nitrite with a gain of 9%. This is after the company has signed an MOU with the government of Gujarat. Sonal joins us for more on that. Sonal, it's a very large capex of 5,000 crore that the company is committing. Can you tell us more?
Oh yes, it's a big amount. 5,000 crore rupees is what Deepak Nitrite will be investing over the next 4 years. This is in an MOU or an agreement with the government of Gujarat. They will be expanding to newer products and also manufacturing existing products like phenol and acetone. The other products would be something in the specialty chemical space, bisphenol, and it will be done at their existing plants, the ones at Dahej and Nandasari as well. Now the company says the products which will be manufactured will be used in various segments. For instance, specialty chemicals will be used in pharma sector, it will be used in agrochemical sector. Bisphenol will be used to make epoxy and adhesives, which is a feedstock for polycarbonate, which is ultimately used in sectors like automotive, electronic, consumer goods, etc. The company goes on to say that these products will be important for import substitution, and that's why the stock is in focus. Just to put the point forth that it is important to track the execution here, because it is a cyclical industry in which the company works in or executes their projects in. So by the time this is executed, we'll have to watch out for what the asset turnover here is and what the opportunity they can get, considering the realization or the phase of the cycle they are in when it comes to their individual products. But yes, a decent news. We'll have to see the execution going forward and whether the stock price move that we've seen today actually converts in the kind of opportunity company is seeing here or not.
Thank you very much for that. Dipan, thoughts on Deepak Nitrite?
Yeah, I think it's been a great value creator, and the inflection point for the company came when its 100% subsidiary, Deepak Phenol, went on stream. And phenol, mind you, was an import substitute product. They have now a large-scale capacity within India and could even look at exports. On the whole, I think specialty chemical companies have reported good earnings, And the medium-term outlook also is pretty decent. This rupee depreciation certainly benefits them. And again, this is like a China plus one strategy where global outsourcing is coming more and more towards India. So in that spirit, I think the company expanding its capacity is definitely well taken by the market. And valuations also are quite reasonable, I think. So around these levels, or maybe when the stock cools down a little bit, one could look at investing in, but have a slightly longer horizon.
Okay, slightly longer horizon. Deepan, any of these Adani Group stocks of interest to you?
Yeah, Prashant, that's a tough one to answer because, on a fundamental basis, they keep making incremental progress. But the valuation comfort is just not there when you compare it with other companies in similar businesses within India or globally. But then, it keeps on springing surprises from time to time. And now that, the kind of issues which were there a few months ago around the short seller report, I think those are gradually getting addressed. And we are seeing a lot of trading interest in the Adani Group stocks. And that also, I think, is lifting the sentiment for these companies. But on a fundamental basis, I'm still to get around myself to buy any of these companies.
All right. And I'm sure we'll hear it when you do it. Well, that's Adani Group and Deepan's views there. NCC is up about, 6% or so at 108 plus. It's seen a sharp recovery from where it opened in the morning. Vivek is standing by. We put this out with Vivek earlier today. CLSA, the broker, saying that they don't think, the Karnataka state government issue and the new government coming in and sort of freezing projects, etc., is a big deal for NCC. It's a small percentage of NCC's total workbook. Vivek, take it away.
Well, absolutely right. So yesterday there was a panic sell-off after, the news flow that did come in saying that, immediate stop as far as new project order wins. Also stopping, releasing of funds as far as some of the older project execution was concerned. But CLSA today morning had, done an impact analysis. So number one, when you're talking about NCC itself, the Karnataka government or the Karnataka order book stands at 11% of NCC's total order book. Now, even within that, what they said was that it is important to monitor jointly funded projects like the Bangalore Metro. For instance, in the Bangalore Metro, there is a percentage or an element of number one, the state funding, the central funding, as well as external, external organizations that were funding. So in most likelihood, even we had J. Kumar Infra on the channel, they also said in most likelihood, those projects will not have any impact whatsoever. In fact, what they're saying is that large projects like Bangalore Metro and Phase 2 was actually funded 50% from the multilateral agencies. So today morning's note, CLSA actually mentioned that it's actually a good idea to go ahead and accumulate the stocks on the back of yesterday's weakness.
Okay, and that seems to have worked for NCC today, 6% higher. Vivek, thanks for that. After a stellar move, 70% up move in the last 1 year. It's been quite a story, NCC. Deepan, your thoughts on this, whether you're convinced that this is really a non-issue and whether you would have an interest in an EPC player like NCC?
I think it's a non-issue, and even if the percentage of exposure to Karnataka was high, it's just a transient phase. End of the day, I think at this point of time, the way infra projects are coming up, the government needs more companies like NCC, be it state or central, and companies like NCC, which have a proven track record in execution and are eligible for many of the high-value projects. I think this is great times for them. And look at the order book which they have. It extends easily beyond 3 years or so. And we are entering into a kind of a election phase, which will mean more and more announcement of infra projects and a greater urgency to complete the infra projects already underway. So on the whole, I think NCC and similar group companies or similar peer group companies should do exceedingly well. Of course, Larsen & Toubro is the absolute ultimate large company when it comes to infra construction. And they too have reported good order inflow. So very positive on the sector as a whole. I think next 3-4 quarters should be phenomenal for companies like NCC or Dilip Bilcon, KNR Construction and Larsen & Toubro as well.
Okay, all right, Deepan, thanks so much for stopping by and discussing a whole host of stocks with us. Well, the markets seem to be